Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for Thursday, the 4th day of March 2020. Well, I was looking over the notes from both last week and Monday. Last week we were talking about authority and how we express that. But then it seemed like on Monday we had Hagalaz and Puella as the runes, and then we had the Chariot, the King of Swords, and the Lovers. We had the King of Swords on Thursday of last week as well, where we were talking about expressing authority in terms of honesty and all of that. Well, here, I think on Monday, this was more about our inner authority, maybe, and built on integrity and honesty and trust. You know, how we express ourselves outwardly depends on how we see things inwardly. So I think that we moved into that realm. We'll see if we continue that today. The rune from the Elder Futhark is Uruz, the primal forming essence. Looks like the oryx or a bison. But basically what Uruz is the ability to manifest. As the primal forming essence, it manifests health, endurance, let's see what else, healing, strength. It's energy that shapes matter, but it's not the manifesting itself, but the force behind it. And so what's that? That's thought. So higher self-awareness. Hopefully you're manifesting from that standpoint. And if we're talking about, I don't know what to do with this. I'll set it over here. If you're talking about manifesting inner authority, really, where is that coming from? Is it coming from the ego? Is it coming from spirit? So that's where I think that, maybe we're going to continue along that same vein here today with Uruz. Because again, where is that manifesting force coming from? Where is the energy coming from that's shaping your reality, essentially? Let's take a look and see what we have Puella again today, just like on Monday, little scattered little girl energy, but it's energy that's creative. You're looking around, you're trying to know things. You're trying to find the truth about things. So it's not like it's not a negative influence as we saw from Monday's reading. So again, energy shaping matter. The thought processes behind it, the higher self-awareness or the ego awareness that drives it all. That's what we're really talking about when we talk about that primal force with Uruz. So while I shuffle, I will tell you that the esoteric influences are up and on the blog. God, I had a heck of a time. My WordPress wanted to center everything. It's like, and I couldn't get it to stop. And so I had to rewrite the whole thing and redo it, and so I don't have as many bullet points because they were wanting to center on the page. It was weird. It's like, why is that happening? So I couldn't figure it out, and I used 2 different computers to do it, thinking, well, okay, maybe there's something going on with this computer. So I switched from the laptop to the desktop, and that still didn't help. So I just had to rewrite the whole thing. Anyway, it's there. The video is also there. And that's, of course, on the side panel, just like this one will be. All the videos go on the side panel. Let's see. I did a rune divination yesterday over on Medium, and I talked just a little bit without talking about it. The nonsense with the Odal rune. I'm sorry, folks, that's fascism, and to have that at a Republican event, well, that tells you what they are. Apparently, anyway, at least some of them. That just blew me away. I'm sorry, but I know what it is, and they've co-opted Othala, which is about, ancestry and tradition and legacy and the Akashic record and all that, and turned it, in Nazi Germany, turned it into the fatherland. That's what it means. The homeland, the fatherland. It's like after 9/11 when we had the Department of Homeland Security. Oh boy, that made me nervous, the use of that word. I don't know, had it been a Democratic administration, if that would have happened. They might have called it something else. assuming they had it at all. But that was just a little too, and then fast forward to what was there on that, how the stage was built, please. Yeah, I find the whole thing offensive. Runes are our language. They're not just a language to communicate with. They're a language of light. They're a language of spirit. And to demean it that way, I mean, demean isn't even the word. Right? I'm just outraged, completely outraged that they would do something like that. Or that anyone would. You know, it was bad enough what Nazi Germany did. Bad enough what Hitler and his people did. But, you know, to carry it forward into these times, well, it tells you what you need to know, unfortunately. They can sit there and say, oh, that's not true. Oh, you guys are just overreacting. No, we're not. Those of us who know, you guys aren't overreacting at all. Everyone who's upset about this, you better be. That's all I have to say. Anyway, I'm going to take the cards now. Oh, all major cards today. We have the Emperor, 4th card of the Major Arcana. We have the 13th card, Death, also a 4 energy, transition. This is about authority again. I guess we're still dealing with that, aren't we? And here we have the Devil, 15th card, 6 energy. Not what you think. So let's figure out how we want to look at these cards today. Do we just want to look at them in order, or what do we want to do here? Let me think about this for a minute. We've got 2 4s and a 6, so we've got a pattern there with, let's start with the Devil. And then we'll go to the Emperor, and then we'll go to the Death card. This is exciting. Okay, the Devil guy. You see the pentagram inverted up there. Now, the pentagram looks normal there. Well, it's not a question of normal. It's a question of directionality. And so here, the focus is on form versus the other way, it's focused on spirit. When the point is up, it's spirit. Okay, when it's down, it's focused to the earth. And so it's focused to form and the issues that we deal with while we are in these bodies. And one of those issues is dealing with polarity, whether it's the balanced polarity between the masculine and feminine, or the projective and the receptive, the yin and the yang, you know, depends on how you want to see that, but you're going to be balancing polarity there always, right? The other polarity that you balance when you're in form is the one between spirit and form. Are you going to be aware of higher self? Are you going to be aware that you are a soul? Or are you simply going to come from the reactionary lower half, you know, lower chakra area and react in terms of ego? Or are you going to let the higher chakras inform, you know, let spirit inform you there and then start reacting from that level, you know, because there you're not so much reacting as you are creating. So it's creation versus reaction in a way. You can look at it that way. But here, the Devil means the slave to desire, the slave to the ego. You see the man and the woman there, they're chained to the post that our Devil guy is sitting on. Now he's doing an as above so below presentation with his hands too, just like the magician does. Only in the magician card he's holding a scroll to spirit, all right? The word of God essentially to spirit. And here you see the Devil with a torch. So he wants his light to be on the ego. All right? That's what the Devil character means. The Devil is the ego. It's not an individual. That's confused. It's so funny. My youngest boy used to perch on everything. It was just the funniest thing. It's like, what are you doing perching? Okay. But you see the oak leaf tail on the man, and you see the I think it's a pomegranate, actually. Could be a strawberry. But I think it might be a pomegranate. A pomegranate is a theme in tarot. But so are strawberries, that you can see them too. I think the strawberries are on the Empress, maybe. But they have little horns on their heads. So if you look at this in terms of a sixth energy, if you look at the sixth energy as a higher self-awareness energy, bringing all of that into harmony, basically that's what you're trying to do here. Only it's with the focus is on the ego. And so instead of lighting, he's acknowledging spirit with his hand up above here, going upward, but the light is on the ego. So we have to balance that out. Now, in terms of authority, we've talked outer authority and inner authority. So expression of authority outward, and inner authority of where it comes from. How you process that is how you then express that, right? Well, here we have a guy who can't look you in the eye. It's slightly askew. You see all the reds and dark oranges and around him. That's Mars energy. You see the ram's heads on his throne. There's 4 of them. He's an older man. Should have some wisdom, but you see underneath this is likely battle attire. So he's at war. He's at war with himself. He's at war with others. So you don't really know. And especially if in terms of, and we talked about this on Monday, if you're going to express authority, you have to do it with integrity. You have to do it with honesty. You cannot expect people to buy into a con. I realize that's what we've been dealing with for the last 4+ years, but that's not right. Okay? We should never have had to wade through all the lies to try to figure out, okay, and is it really the truth? And now, see, we have a pandemic that it's still not under control. It could have been, but it's not. Because there were too many lies told about it. You got the doctors trying to say one thing, you got the former guy lying about it, and then you got half the country doesn't want to wear masks. Well, is it any wonder we're still where we are? And over 500,000 people have died. Surely that's got to matter to somebody, right? But maybe not to this guy's expression. Because maybe this guy has not figured out, because all you see are the reds there. Yeah, he hasn't figured out how to balance the ego within. Hasn't figured out how to do that, how to keep it in a better balance so that, even if you do react from ego, it's not going to be so extreme that it becomes fascism, or if it's governmental, or it's not going to become oppressive, or you're not going to take from your neighbor. You know what I mean? Or you're not going to take from your coworkers. If it was a joint effort, then it's going to reflect that. You're going to be honest about it. You're not going to go say, oh, look what I did. When it was, someone you were working with that was most of the impetus for it. Maybe you just sat there. It was really that person's ideas. But you see, with the Emperor, you don't see balanced color there on the card, do you? It's all this Mars energy, which out of control, is very, very oppressive and authoritarian. So again, we're still dealing with those issues, the effect of it, the effect of someone like that on this country, the effect of that in our own personal lives, and the decisions that we make that don't reflect a shared path or shared understanding or shared truth with other people. It's our natural state, right? So what do we need? We need a transition. The Emperor needs to transition. He doesn't need to die. But you can see the pentacle is inverted again here on the white rose. Again, it's a focus on form only. It is not evil. You see the sun, though, rising over here between the 2 towers. And the 2 towers represent the middle path or balance. So balance is possible. Balancing your ego, transmuting ego into spirit is possible. To where spirit is guiding things again. You see death come through on his white horse. You see the king dead on the ground and the queen and their child in grief. You see the priest here, or the Hierophant, giving last rites. Everything's a mess there. But there's new possibility because we see the sun rising. Excuse me. A lot of pollen outside. I was outside yesterday working in the garden, cleaning stuff up, and gathering seed, bean seed and sweet pea seed and whatnot from last year that was still out there. And so I spent a little bit of time outside, and now I'm paying for it. Need to take some respiratory tincture. But you see, he's heading in the direction of the future, isn't he? Death is about transition. I mean, it can mean the death of an individual, but typically in tarot, it's going to indicate the death of perception. Everything is thought-based. If the creator, if the great mother breathes out life, if it is her thought process that goes out there, then everything you see is manifested thought of the creator. Whether you see that as the great mother as I do, or whether you see that as God the Father, it doesn't really matter. The creator is not gender oriented, so it's just energy, loving creation energy that expressed itself out because it wanted to see what this was going to be like. And then each one of us are little points of creator light that's expressed into form with themes that we choose before we come here, and then we manifest all of that out. We pick and choose what our experiences are. And from there, we have our own perceptions about them. But make no mistake, it's thought-based. And so when we see death, when we see any of this stuff, truly what you're talking about, especially in terms of the major cards, either where you're talking about this or you're talking about runes, you're talking about how do we manifest source presence into the perception of form. Because this is an illusion. Truly, it's an illusion. It could be anything. We could be anywhere. We could be not this, not what you are. We could be anything. And likely are. It isn't just, the only place we are isn't just here. We're everywhere. And in terms of the notion of past, present, and future, I believe everything happens at once, and all we're doing is we're just picking and choosing the experiences we want to have, and based on the theme that we decide on. So I think that the transition that we all have to make in one fashion or another is in perception. How do we see it? If how you see something is upsetting you, try seeing it in a less intense way. Try pulling the judgment out of it. Try to get to a more objective viewpoint. It takes the notion of the seven energy of stepping back and observing, letting things come to some kind of rest or settling out so you can really see what's going on. When you see it, when everything's all up in flux and you know there's a lot of conflict or there's a lot of emotion or whatever, makes it a little more difficult to see things clearly. Not always, but oftentimes that's the case. And I think when we're talking about authority, and again, on Monday it was inner authority, and we have urus today, well, you're talking about the manifesting force behind all of it, and that's thought. That's our thoughts. That's our perceptions. And from there, we manifest our experiences. Because think about it. Think about it this way. We can all, say you got 10 people together that are witnessing something. While all 10 may agree, yeah, that's a really bad thing, it's going to affect each one, potentially anyway, differently. And how much emotion we put into it, how much judgment, how much subjectivity we put into our perceptions. Can we just see it as a thing that happened, or do we have to then put a value judgment onto it? And each one of the 10 people involved, they're going to have their own perception of what that is. And so at that point then, that perception gives way to the emotion that you feel about whatever it is you're looking at. You see it, then you have a feeling about it. Well, all that happens so quickly, you don't realize the process that's involved. But you have to make a decision at some point, and you don't realize you've done it. That okay, I'm really upset about this. You may have half the people in the group that don't seem to be as upset as you. It's like my husband will not be as upset as I am. Visually, it's like, and I'm like, well, you're not as upset as I am. What's wrong? I mean, do you not understand what this is? So we get into one of those things. And what it really comes down to is I have allowed my perception of something to turn into a value judgment that now then says I have to be upset about this. Really, really, really upset. And I'm looking at him and he's not. It's like, what's wrong with you? When it's really my choice that's brought me to where I am. He has nothing to do with it. Except he just happens to unfortunately be there and I see him, right? So now I'm attacking him basically for something that he can have whatever feeling he wants. He can have whatever reaction he wants. That has nothing to do with me. Not my business, right? But you see what I mean? It's like suddenly then we branch out. We can't just be satisfied with feeling the way we do. Now we've got to make sure everybody else does too, right? So I think that that's really the realm of perception. I really do. And I think that balancing polarity, not so much in terms of projective and receptive or masculine and feminine, although that's important. I really think that the true, especially now during the time of ascension and awakening and enlightenment and illumination, I really think, because it begins here first, ascension does. Yeah, you may ascend when you die, the body dies, and you go on to other things. You don't come back to this earth, maybe. Maybe you go and you do other things, right? Incarnate some other way, in some other planet, some other vibrational level, maybe. But the bottom line is, we do this. We can do some of that work here by understanding that we're truly souls inhabiting these bodies, and collectively, when we're not in the bodies, we're part of one big source energy, one big collective consciousness field. The operative word being one. We don't have the issues there that we have here. It's not possible because we're one energy. Well, we are here too, whether we want to believe that or not, whether it feels like it or not. Again, where are you drawing your experiences from? Are you drawing them from the higher chakra centers, or are you drawing them from the lower ones, where everything is about defense and protection? But here, it's about release to spirit and trust. So, again, I think that, in terms of authority, where it comes from, how it's expressed, is it going to be expressed from the level of ego or from the level of spirit? So, how will you manage and manifest your Uru's energy today? So, anyhow, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Do come back on Monday for somewhat daily tarot and rune. We do this Monday and Thursday. I was doing it Monday through Thursday, but I want to give people a chance to think about what we do on Monday, and then maybe are we gonna and then I want to incorporate Thursdays in with it. Is what I kind of like this, so I hope you do too. If you've been watching all this time and you know that we've changed, I hope you like this idea. I think the other one's fine, but I kind of like the idea of seeing some kind of flow, and I think this gives us a little better window into that. So anyhow, come back on Sundays, if you will, and watch Esoteric Influences. We'll do that as well. And if you want to sign up for the newsletter, which has the Esoteric Influences in it, among other things, I put in there this time, this last one that I issued. Let's see, it was how to make a mushroom double extract for a tincture, how to do a double extraction process. I still haven't done it, by the way. I have to do it. I may do it today. Anyway, I have some lion's mane that I've got soaking, and it's done, and I need to do the double extraction process. You soak it in alcohol, and then you strain it out. You take that same mushroom stuff, and you stick it in a pan of water, like a quart of water, a half gallon of water, whatever you're using, and you want to simmer it down to where you have only like either 8 ounces or 16 ounces or something, and then you take that, you strain that out, and then you take that water mixture. See, mushrooms have different types of constituents, and some extract better in alcohol, but then the stuff that extracts better in water is still there, and so you've got to go do that too. And then you combine the two, and you have a nice tincture. I do that with my reishi. I have to do it with my turkey tail. I've still not done that, but I've got this lion's mane, and I wanted to do it, and I'm real excited about that. Lion's mane's cool, but I tried to grow it in a mushroom patch, and that didn't work. So anyway, it's just too dry in my house. So anyway, that's what I put that in there. So you get more. There's a rune divination. There's just different stuff in there than just the esoteric influence. So if you want to sign up for that, that's over on the side panel of the blog as well. All the links are below the video here. There's also a link to Herbal Academy's Herbal Formulation course that they've got going, registrations on through the 10th. So if you want to click that link and order the course, if you go through one of my links, just know I'm an affiliate for them and I'll make a commission off the sale if you decide to purchase it. I get a small commission on that. So it just helps, fund the blog basically. So, and offset some of my costs there. So that's why I do that. But I'm an herbalist, so I love that school. I'm actually taking the course. I'm going to take the course. I've already signed up for it. And I've been doing some of the suggested reading already, and I love this kind of stuff. And even though I've had these classes before, I like to see other herbalists, ideas about them, and so I'm excited about this. So I highly recommend it, and I hope you take it. It's going to be a lot of fun if you're interested in herbs, whether you're an herbalist or you're not. Doesn't matter. It's going to teach you how to put herbs together in an effective way, understand what they are, what they can be used for, and how you can put whether it should be done versus in a tea form or a tincture form or whatever. And so it's going to tell you how to do all that. So anyhow, thanks so much for watching. And if you have not clicked subscribe yet, I hope you will do that here and come back and wear a mask if you go out around anyone at all. We're doubling up with that, plus a face shield. Because we've not gotten our shots yet. And even after we've gotten that, we're going to continue to mask up. And until CDC gives until Dr. Fauci says we don't have to. So, anyway, I love that guy. He's so cool. Anyway, thanks so much again. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another. And blessed be.